Okay, so I published this thing called the $10 drops, and it's inside the Hightail site. And that's this folder inside here. Somebody asked me about the indicators, the big bar. The one that's in here under indicators, it's kind of at the very bottom. I'm sorry, that's templates. So, okay, the $5 drops. I don't really have anything here that is worse than break even. And if it's break even, it's still worse than break even if you're going to do the pure math on it. So we have one called indicators from July 21st, 2018, and that there has like a gray bar, a green bar, and the width would be described inside of the let's see here. Okay, this one's called bar. And the deal here is, this is the width. You have to change that 4 times because there's a high, low, close, open. I just took this guy's code and I made him black. Now I'm running 16 or 14 on the other charts, the big fat bars. These monster bars here are set at like, let me see, and of course, you know, you can put whatever you want on there, but for me I had to trim it down because I couldn't stand looking at all that. This is 14 pixels, but maybe it's maybe it's 16. You'd have to look, but I made it so that there's a little bit of a slice between it. At max zoom in, I can still see a sliver of time between it, because if I go and cut it down like this, it's just too much information. There's too many trades in there. If you can imagine range trading the dollar CAD this whole time, and then when it made this move into the white zone, and here's also the big monster pivot where you get the about a 40 pip pivot window here, comes screaming back off of that top. Look how insanely clean this reversal is compared to, say, locking up all your margin in a trend trade because you said, well, I got a trend line, it's going up, I'm long, how about you? I've been in these trades before, and I guess that's why I can't do them anymore, because I just want to get out, get my money and get out. All of this nonsense, just holding on to my margin, and I'm like, yeah, my target maybe is above here because I want to go the other way, but maybe my target was here. If my target was here, I'm out. What if your target's here? Like if you lower your target, so what I did here is I made a risk 15 to make 20, 15 to make 30, so I wrote more buys. But you'd have to rewrite your own because I didn't upload these. I could down the line maybe if I did a symmetrical amount of sells with the same exact kind of ratio here. I also have a risk 25 pips to make 17. That's a highly likely trade. So on the stats of this account, I've been trading it for 3 days. I made $4,100 in 3 days. I actually traded pure, no manual trading. The other account I was able to take from 1,000 to 3,000 to 4,000 3 times in the dollar yen range trading it. But I went flat once, I think. And the problem there is that the orders last forever. And it's better to have your orders die every 24 hours or every week if you're going to actually trade so deep in the market that, you know, you got to be realistic. This is why this is like a setup for an empowered trading guy. He's waiting for the Gartley completion of his crab wing down here into this thing here, right? He's waiting for this kind of situation. If you use the Gartley on just closing prices, like here's your one triangle, say, and you're trying to buy here, and maybe you got to stop down here because this is the 618. For God's sake, this is ridiculous, but because who wants to miss out on this nice clean breakout on the daily? You're like, dude, that is going to be so fantastic. They're going to shear off this hole. Whoosh, one day. And you got in here before the final assault on the northern vacuum and then the very tippy top window, the supply or demand, whatever have you. It's one man's demands, not another man's supply. Double top closing prices on the daily. Nice clean double top. Looks like a reversal. Looks like, just really? I think it's done going up, huh? It's exhaustion, maybe. Look at this nice capture window down here. I'd say just place your orders in here for a week. Or how about a month? MN1 on the settings. Make these monthly tickets. I mean, if you're really going to swing trade it, if you're going to trade as often as no-nonsense trades, you got pendings 300 pips deep that last all month. You're like, of course I'm buying down there. What a retarded question. Who's not buying 300 pips deep for the next 5 minutes and the next month? In other words, the monthly orders are good for the next hour. Should smash down there. But look at this dollar CAD. Is it ranging or is it just me? What's the trend? Well, my buddy across the street's using this 8-period moving average and it just nailed this entry right here. Is crazy. Yeah, I'm sure, but there was a guy with the 5-period moving average that got in here for this move, okay? All these people are trading all their systems, and surely there is a guy, we know it, everybody's been there where they're the guy buying here at the, like, I am so bullish, it closed up, all my indicators, or even you bought here, and you're like, this is so great. Came back, I moved my stop, I got stopped out, I made X. Or I think it's going to keep going up, so I'm still holding it now. I'm underwater. I bought here, I'm underwater. That's why a robot that runs a trailing stop will make more money over time than a person that's looking at structure saying, well, no, it's just going to keep cleaning this and we're just going to go after all these stops, so to speak. But this shelf here is really deep and tight, and that's a real issue. Because to make it to here would just be it'd have to be a blink. These are blink moves up here. This move here probably spent on the 5-minute chart. You may not even have a double top. It might just be a single top on the 5-minute chart. You got to go to the 1-minute chart to see some spastic thing happening on a micro level of volatility inside of spastic price behavior beyond anything. In other words, all of a sudden it's just ridiculous. But that only lasts for 7 minutes, or 1 second. But it's enough to screw up the trade you're in. Because you're running too tight a stop. So I have the bad stops in here. I have probably the most liberal here is risk 25 pips to make 17. That's, these are kind of fictitious numbers, but they're close because I'm not going to do all the math down at the little decimal points here, but risking 15 to make 30. This isn't bad. 15 to make 20. This isn't asking too much, but risking 13 to make 100 pips, and I don't even have the 150 pip winners in here. So I'm actually cashing out of this account at the end of the day or at the end of the session, if I'm not hitting my, so I'm actually cashed out of open positions too. Because I can reload the same tickets like on this. I can stream them down on this bar here. But see, these never filled because they expired. I put the new ones down here though for tonight. But yeah, I could take the account to $20,000 from $5,000. I just have to place all these tickets. And another thing I did was I put in the limit grids, which is a big fat grid of tickets, which is a convenience coverage area. Like here's every pip with a 15 pip stop to make 30 over a 10 pip range. And if I put it above, it's sell limits, and below it's going to be buy limits. You need to have realistic targets on these. This isn't asking too much to make 20 pips with a 20 pip stop. So here's your kind of the middle of the road sell strategy, sell high strategy. So I'll put a blanket in there. I may not even make my 20 pips. That could just get sheared off. Of course, this is 8 hours. I don't think we're going to make it up there in 8 hours, but just in case we do, and this is just laying track out in front of the market. I think I got a bad ratio in here somewhere. It's got to have a big number on the left and a small number on the right. Also, there are, this is under time grids and under inside that link, time grids and also limit grids. Like these are swing trades here. 80 pips to, you're risking 80 pips to make 80 pips in a 40 pip range. I mean, this is an insane trade plan. I think that would last about at least a day, 8 hours, maybe if the news came out, and I would put it right here near the market. So I'd put it right here if I thought the news was coming out. It's only a 5K in a 40 pip range. So right here, maybe all week long. And it's logarithmic, so it's getting in tighter at the top. It's martingale-esque, I suppose, here. If I drop it here and interweave them, you'll see that it's going to sell more up here. It's going to leg in, and it's going to compress. So if I overlap 3 of those, I'll just get a denser, and I could pluck off some of these. I go down to the bottom here. If I take closed ticket and I drop it right near that order, I can thin this out. If you do grab one of these tickets and drag it, make sure the take profit, if you want to keep the ratios kosher, you make sure the take profit and the stop right along with it. And here I set it to, in charts, use the Alt key to move, so you have to force that to move. Hold down the Alt key and grab a ticket. Otherwise, you won't accidentally move one of these tickets right now because if you're drawing objects, you might move one of these guys. You always have to click that as your option because the default is like this. These are double clicks here. Buy limit only. So this is like just 15 minutes. So this is a whole different style of trading there. Half-hour limit grids, you know. Depending when you drop those. Okay, here's the dollar yen. Crashing again into my limits. Looks like I'm about to get stopped out of here. I left 2 of these behind. So here's an example of running these kind of obnoxious 15-minute, like if I had a 15-minute robot and a 30 minutes, So yeah, I like that. So it gets into about 80K down here for just moments. Here's an 18 pip grid. So every 18 pips, we're going to get in a, don't ask. Here's a 2K. 18, so the name of this script, it's so hard to come up with a name that makes sense for what it's doing. This is buy limit 18 pip grid, which means the tickets are 18 pips apart and they're 18 pips deep from current and then last 15 minutes. And it's a 2K with an 8 pip stop to make 30 pips. Put 2 tickets in there. Very greedy bounce script. 8 pip stop to make 30 pips on a 2K. 8 to make 16, 3 pips apart. So this is very aggressive. You're going to buy this market for 15 minutes. Here is a 4 pip for 15. So when you trade really close to the market, you don't want these tickets to last more than 15 minutes or a half hour, because if that's the case, the chances of us taking out this wick and coming down here is really high probability. Also, we could come smashing down here. So you need enough money for this strategy called buy low, sell high, buy all the way down in, and when it gets beyond it, I don't know what the low is on here. The yen is just out of control here. We'd have to do a lot of work to take out this wick. This is also right near support. I'm just going to say that's support there within a 20 pip range there. Not even that, like 15. So we can just keep melting down the tubes here. Now the 4 hour, people that trade breakouts in the 4 hour have a whole different perception of what a good trade is, I would think. Let's hope. We don't know what's in the minds of people. But on the 4 hour world, it's a choppy mess. If I just crop it just right, it's just a mess. Look at all the volume on these. Volume indicator running. Look at this fucking mess. Are you kidding me? Who's making money on a trend? What is the trend here? Somebody please. It's like, I guess it's in a downtrend from here to here. But then again, is that just a pullback from this sloppy mess trying to go up? We'll just ignore these moves. But how could you ignore the equity swing of 50 pips? A standard lot, right? You're not noticing that? 3 standard lots? You're not noticing your equity fluctuate during this session? For whatever your supposed target was. I mean, this has got to be the best place to sell. It's right there. About 5 bars back. It's a lonely enough wick. Here's 2 lonely wicks that get smashed. But then again, is that the capture area to ride it all the way back to here? Could be. Just like right now, I'm long here. I would buy all night long. I'm not going to risk the whole account on this one idea. But I can already see the trade plan. If I had, to save the effort of dropping orders I know I would buy 200 pips deep, I would just write a monthly script and drop it in there, right? But if I don't want to lock up all my tickets on trades that aren't going to happen for a month, I don't want to see them on the platform because it just doesn't make sense to have a pending. Hopefully you can get to the chart in time. If you're that low frequency of a trader, then, right, get out the yearly charts, drop the orders at the beginning of the year, and just take them off. No expiration. You just remember that you left them out there. Hopefully they pick you up on a move. So, look at New Zealand dollar. I can't believe they took it down here to that last little sky. They stopped out that poor son of a bitch down here. It's so cruel. I know we were really bearish into that. I mean, you have no idea. In fact, we're still short. We're very short. We went short here, actually, if you want to know the truth, and then we blew up the account. But no, we waited for another confirmation move, so we got in here, and we were right about that. We almost got stopped out. We were doing really good. Let's see. So, this is going to be the sweet spot, right? This is the big deal. This window right there. Trailing stop bots are protecting this win. People are cashing out into these bottoms. We've healed that move. Now I want to buy in limits. So for me, I can perceive a 20 pip bounce. Is 40 pip bounce? Can the market bounce? Can it go down 50 pips and bounce 30? I'm only asking, is that a possibility that we come up here tonight and then sellers come in and pull it back a little bit and we scalp 30 pips off of that? Yeah. Here you got clobbered, right? If you sold here, but you had to be aware of this pending vacuum. You had to think, my God, if they ever get a hold of that, they're just going to take that out like a zipper. Yeah. It's obviously the clearinghouse. Never made it past here, though. Boy, oh boy. Selling this top, this top, this top. You're far enough away. Here was the zipper effect. Once it cuts through that slant, bam. Look at just powerhouses through. All these are winners if you have a wide enough stop. Every one of these is a winner. It's doing not the exact opposite of dollar CAD, but it's ranging, and these are the amazing. You're just. Does it get any better entry than this? People would say that's the shoulder, the head, the shoulder in closing prices, and they would say, see, that pattern works. Yeah, it all works. I mean, this is a shoulder that failed, I guess. This would be your shoulder, head, shoulder. Then you're like, okay, trend line supposed to keep going up, but the problem is volatility's drying up. Bottom becomes a top on the daily. A little more hell to pay. Trap below the wick. Come ripping back. Take out this. Just crush that. Kablamo. Then, of course, the buyer's remorse. Here they come in. Here's the bulls money management stop stacking up. Uh-oh. Took them out. Turtle traders make money here. Yeah, Turtle trader just says, you know what? I'll put me a buy stop. They'll just, we traded a breakout. Look, we're up. Well, we'll reverse here. Trapped there. Turtle trader's trapped there. Low volatility, slumping. Still got to fill this hole. Buyers coming in heavy there in this window. People are probably cashing out a little bit here. It's going to get quiet tonight. And maybe the volatility is over. Wednesdays typically get this crazy move, but Wednesday is not making a new low here. We're just kind of cutting north. Dollar CAD looks like a nice smash down. So look at this weekly. Look at this thing. Just churning down. Just going after this now. I think it's going to punish this thing. For whatever reason. Looks like we're about to invade this hole. Of course, this is the hot spot. Always scalping on that on some level, though. On a different time frame. Right, so on a different expiration rate. So I put in the Let's go to the trusty script banks. I'll just put some big blanketed tickets in here. Cover like a, here, 13 pip stop. We'll start buying down here for the next 8 hours or 6 hours. It's not even a good I mean, there's no way in 6 hours they're going to take it down here. They're not even trading. This script's not even going in there. It's a 10K. There you go. See, the market's not even open. Okay, here's same scheme here. I'm going to lay the 6 hour 40 pip Ranger in. Gotta wait for a tick to come in. There you go. Boom. That's linear. 1Ks. It's hard to blow up the account now. But yeah, I brought my hit rate up on this thing. I got a risk of ruin of like nothing here. 1.9%. I've never seen anything like it. So here's the rewrite of the script. Everything from here is all, everything to the left of here is all the first versions where I'm risking $10 on all this stuff. And I'm trying to make this 35 here. Now, at this point, I rewrote all this. So we get this nice, I'm taking 15, 20. I dropped all those tickets. In a cluster right here. Some of these are just risk 10 to make 10, and this, I think this is, yeah, this last is me just pulling everything off the table that's a winner. I did get my targets here. We had a blast, and to 30, because I had written the exact target, which made a difference in the outcome of all this math. So in 3 days, I was able to make that. And then my hit rate went up naturally because I wasn't getting greedy with my targets. 88% correct on the targets. And a couple of these were other currency pairs, but mostly euro dollar. Yeah, so that's it. I could just see, here's the average loss, which is about 10. I must have closed something out, but that should be bigger than 10. Maybe because I had $5 drops commingled in there. That's possible. Or there was a hedge thing. I don't know if they call that a loss. I don't know how they do the math on these things, but also I wanted to show you the random walk. Polynomial fits of random walks. This is so much the market. I think I did a video on this before. This is a Wolfram demonstration. And the seed, the random walk of the market, the closing prices look just like every market I've ever seen. That black line. And this is like how many. There's the actual app running here. Apparently that's the web version, but you got your seeds. And I can get this to look like any market at any point. It's actually got like a cloud in front of it. These lines. Like moving averages are running in front. So it's like very smooth here. And here you would say, people would say stuff like, well, I can see my trade in there. Yeah, I'm just going to buy here at this trend line, and I'm going to buy here when this fast moving average crosses over, and I'm going to ride this little move here, or I'm going to sell because Yeah, this is a trap up here. We can see all these trades in here just by how much data in the volatility. So it's completely random, which to me, that's the volatility. The problem with volatility is you don't know when you're going to see a rogue wave, so to speak. I'm just going to take off all the moving average stuff there. But yeah, it looks to me like your classic market. Let's do less. It just looks just like the market to me. I can't tell the difference, honestly. Closing prices are always brutal. It's interesting. Oh, here's the order. So there's a single order trend line, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know if the market's not random, then because I can still see all these vacuums in here. It's like, yeah, once we go smashing down here, and dead cat bounce, and then like here's the pivot, that's the auction floor. We come back, we're right above it, stair step. Here's a bottom, become a top as you rise out of that. It just looks obvious to me. This is just so failure swing, stop hunt, come down, trap in this little shelf, rip up. Still got this hole to fill. We filled that one. Now we got a vacuum forming on the downside, and I honestly don't see a difference between the random. Maybe I'm distorting reality. Entirely possible. But these holes form and they fill, and I just think it's obvious after a while. That's what you do about the hole. Are you going to accumulate? Are you going to wait for a tight zigzag and make a decision on direction? Or are you going to put a bracket in orders and pay for the not knowing by having a hedge in there instead of... So here we zoom in. You can only see this much. Look, here's a nice bottom become a top. Oh, I'm just going to blew that out of the water by hitting my drawing thing. I screwed up the chart there. Need more data. Here's a nice structured trade on the random chart, the random walk. Bottom becomes a top right there. Like here's the trap. Were they going to go like this or we're going to go like that? Here's another pivot. Here's a perfect little baby. Bottom becomes a top. The doji. Here's the bottom become a top. Once again, it's a pivot. Here's a triangle before the breakout. It's just synthetic data. Yeah, I can see it. I mean, you're just trying to position yourself for what you think's next. Where are you at? This really doesn't necessarily have to come back to any structure. Maybe come back into this internal bottom if you want to make that argument. Here's a doji. Become a top. You could literally take somebody through this chart and they would understand structure of randomness. Look at this Jenna Forex. That's her trade. Everything's cruising along. This big looming vacuum, and then bam. Dead cat bounce, bam. Here's your bottom become a top. There you go. Double top become a bottom. Well, let's pivot. I'm sure you could put Fibonacci on here too. You do all your Gartleys on this random data. Some guy went nuts I did a video about this, and he's like, that's something. Yeah, but can you handle random shit is the question. Ultimately, if you're the guy that can handle random shit, you're going to do pretty good in trading because you'd be like, dude, anything can happen. If you accept that anything can happen, and you got a trade plan for those things that could happen. I like the limit idea because here, if I put limits in, and this one lasts a week, and this only lasts a day, and this lasts 4 hours, it's like, okay, I'm expecting that rate of change. I'm counting on at least that capture of those tickets, so to speak. If I think this is a double top, if I think this is a big deal, this hole, and I got sell limits in this pocket, and they fill that, and then they rip it all the way back here, and then they go after this guy, and I'm out. I ride the engulf. I may ride this engulf, but each engulf has a different kind of sizing. Like these are baby engulfs. But this is the accumulation. Then you jump the creek, then you're off to the races. I think I can print this stuff out. I do screenshots of this, but what's funny is that this random walk stuff, it's just so, it's better than the market because it's so brutal. But we've seen these kind of things happen. If the news came out and the price goes berserk down into this, I mean, I've seen this a million times on a 1 minute chart. Let me go fast. Let me put more data in here. It's interesting. You just blew out that bottom there. Is that a trap? I mean, you can kind of test yourself as far as random events. You know, I mean, I don't know if you need to actually look at a chart on a platform to ask somebody, do you think this is going to go up from here, or are we going to keep going down? We're in a downtrend right now. Like, oh, shit. That would have been a nice scalp. We could have rode it to this double bottom here. That would have been sweet. Kind of just had to stand in front of the momentum of that down move. It's a pretty fierce down move. Not even one itty bitty bounce in that. Oh shit. So I just added the amount of seeds there. Okay, so we got this view too. I suppose it's a trend line. I don't know what the fuck that line is on there. Okay. That's maybe the available. I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm just looking at this last closing prices. 200 periods, I suppose. 200 days. Oh, these are our moving averages, right? I stripped those out. I'm just too overcome by the line chart. So look at that nonsense. And then here's your seeds. So maybe this is actual data. I don't know. This is history. This looks a little choppy here. Wait, what's going on there? Let's see if that's tradable. I mean, you should be able. Shouldn't need an indicator. You should be able to just go random here and just be like, you know what? Now this is difficult because you're talking about how many pips is this move? This bottom becomes a double top. All this nonsense here. Is that tradable? Is the spread killing you? Should you wait for this thing to get trapped? Should you wait for that peak moment? Should you wait for this breakout pullback to here? Should you wait for a trap up there? Should you wait for the trap down here? So right now I'd be on buy limits, trying to capture some type of action. See, my history goes up here if I can creep forward. So that's the trick. It's to grab the history button and just kind of walk forward and try to imagine the trade there. Whew. Wow, wicked. So also, this move here where the market goes ripping up and people are like, oh my God, look at this puppy go. And they get trapped in this window. And they're like, holy shit. Not until here do people even touch this thing. Anyways, there's a bunch of random walk stuff out there. Test this stuff out. Take a look at it. Wow, look at this all coiled up down here. Here's another big problem with the trading is that this kind of accumulation and just lack of volatility, this spends so much time here. And this is probably, let's hope this is cutting into fresh territory here. That's the impetus for the insane move and baby pullbacks and just keep crushing it. So a move like that, people are like, holy shit. Yeah, you're overbought. And if you're selling into that, you're just like, holy God in heaven. But if you're still holding some of your sells because you had enough to make this back, and this is why this guy that's doing this wobble technique is able to, because when it gets to here, he's selling really hard. Somebody's like, well, how's he? Yeah, because when he gets to here, he's like, okay, dude, I'm selling now like everything. And then he's making it back on this move. And he's like, okay. So if you're lightly selling, and then when he gets up here, you're like, no, fuck you. Like, I am so fried. I called Twitter and left a message on their machine telling them what assholes they were. The FBI is going to be knocking on my door soon. I just was so angry. Look at this tippy top here. Trade. Little top become a bottom as you march up this little trend. So is this the trend or is this the trend? I've always wondered how people interpret trends. Is this the trend here? Or, yeah, if this has got to be the counter trend. But then is this a new trend that just goes kind of like counter to the And then we have this dynamic where it starts to, what people call a funnel, an expanding wedge or something. Bizarre terms people come up with to describe stuff. But what does that mean? We're going to start banging down here now and start banging up here? I mean, it is so fickle. Look at this nonsense. What is this, the value area here? I think what matters is if you really in heavy here with a stop here, or are you in really light here with a stop down here? Can you handle waiting for here? You bought here, you seen your account explode, you watch it come and lose half of its money, you're still holding, then you're like, oh, should have got out, and you're like, oh, fuck. Then you're stuck in this nonsense, and then you're like, well, you know, my indicators don't say sell, and this is how No Nonsense has fans, because people are like, he was right, you know, to buy and hold on this was a good idea because we finally made it here. Yeah, dude, I know you locked up all this fucking margin. You watched your equity go all over the fucking map when this was the fucking honeymoon phase of the relationship. This is absolutely divorce court for you. Yeah, okay, you held and had a late anniversary, but let's face it, dude, this is as good as it was ever gonna get. But you hung in there, and you had a couple of kids, and that seemed to rekindle the relationship, and then by a year, you wanted to kill each other, and then here's divorce court. Actually, here's where you got divorced. Here you went off and lived your own life by yourself in the serenity of your own backyard. I'm just saying, every picture tells a story. Let's face it, these markets are template for life. Yeah, this is my dating period, and then I found this girl at Starbucks, and fuck, we were like insane. We got rug burns and everything, and then here, oh, she had a kid, and then, oh, the kid was kind of cute, and then we sold the kid, and then We took the kid to Mexico and said, hey, can we trade that for some cocaine? Did you hear about the cocaine bust? 16 tons of cocaine. Somebody decided to put 16 tons of cocaine on a boat or something, bound for Pennsylvania. Actually, son, what this is a wave 4. Does anybody understand Elliott wave? Wave 3 is the biggest wave. This is what you've seen here is a wave 4. This is wave 5. This is where they bust them. Okay, here's where you loaded the ship right here. So our first run, first port. Anyways. So we're just going to try to put our tickets in the order, in the market. Also, we had this nice trade on the Australian dollar. I'll put a link to the templates and the indicators, but I don't have this stuff compiled, so I really can't sell it, and it's not set up officially. I'll just put a new template on there. Australian dollar. Okay, so if I had some dailies, here's some 12-hour orders. So here's a nice, healthy 12 hours. I will buy down here for 12 hours. A 10K and a 45 pip range. Same thing here. 13 pip stop. And you just have to plant these seeds here, these tickets. Here I'm looking for the British pound to pull back in the next 12 hours. 20 pip range, 7K logarithmic. I'm just looking for the market to tank into my orders, basically. Same thing with this dollar CAD. I think we're going to take out this possibly in 12 hours. Anytime we probe down here. Yeah, this, I mean, I'll tell you, man, I just don't know. So my only recourse, I was so pissed off, was to do a video about OJ. Because when that robot, and I thought, I can't be the only one asking that this guy kill himself. And immediately they suspended my account. Or temporarily, they said. Of course, I couldn't even get in without using a phone number or something. I was like, oh my God. Then I wanted to sue them for leaving my my channel up there. That saved me the drama of posting to the fuckers. You know, YouTube took them off the posting, the automatic posting, so when you publish, you would just automatically go to your favorite whatever. And then you had to force it to happen. You had to make sure that you made another click. And if they rewrite the software one more time, you know, it's great not to have to rely on the internet for like all this stuff that people have built. The trading's kind of a nice thing. It's just it's a connection to the internet, but it's not any kind of. It's just tough. I just don't know how this guy has a Twitter account when they take other people's accounts down. Like, you let OJ sign up for a Twitter account? Huh? He's got 7,000 or 70,000 people are following him. I mean, what does that say? Are these people curiosity seekers, or what's going on there? Like, the guy's, he makes that Cortez chick look fucking intelligible. Oh boy. So, it's a lot of work dropping all these tickets here. I think if I was gonna, I think Dollar CAD could go after this low by the end of the week. This is the take out the low of the month. Because this thing's screaming north. New Zealand. Australia is still getting the party started here. It's a late bloomer. The New Zealand dollar is screaming off 65 cents. It's yelling. Look at this monthly. Look at the range on this thing. How are you trend trading that? The only way to trend trade that is to say, this is a downtrend. Clearly this is a downtrend. And then we have an uptrend. Can't you see it? Swing low to swing high. It's complete empowered trading nonsense. This is obviously a downtrend. You can't see that? I don't want to talk about this move. Where they went into this hole here and then they rip it back. Look at this poor thing. That New Zealand dollar, man. Like a sheep over there? Not enough people banging sheep, I guess. Or goats. What is it? The big picture. See the big picture? It's just up there. It's in there somewhere going up and down. See, it just doesn't matter. This monthly chart's complete nonsense. How does that even matter? What kind of decision can you make on this market? We're at support. I definitely would have gone long here when they took out this low. So the scalper's exit's going to be this. You make your 20 pips. Daily chart people could have traded a stupid ass breakout system here for prizes and trips abroad. 20 pip window. That's what the no nonsense guys should be doing. Well, we have a volatility breakout system for the daily charts. Don't forget, guys, we trade the daily charts, so let's try to get in here when we run tighter stops, guys. Hey, guys, the ATR is real time. It's not 14 period. It's like right now, today. What is today's ATR? What's today's true range? If you're trading on the daily chart, isn't that critical info? Look at this thing. 22 pip range. Look at this. Here you got trapped. But if you had some other orders in there, the complex part is to see the structure holes here. But bar by bar? There are trading systems that are mechanical like this. Narrow range, put in tight stops, go for it. Or just do a fucking directional trade. Assume that you missed your sell limit entry here. The market's going sideways. Well, just sell here and just assume we're going to break down into this hole. And maybe you cash out here. And you don't even ride it up. I still don't know why you need any more data than closing prices in high and low for the day on a daily chart. You're just ruining it. Otherwise, if you can't see this resistance up here. How many people are just willing to sell like a nut fucking job up here? And we could just sweep up there and sweep it back. Same with the stop hunt. We buy limits here. Right? Look at this sweet window. Who can pass this shit up? Right, so if you don't want to pay attention to all these currency pairs, look at this one. Another range trader's dream. Sure, you can tell me all day long about this trend, but inside this trend, there's plenty of zigzagging. Look at this nonsense. 100 pips of pure fucking torture to the guy that went long here. Or no nonsense goes long here, and he's trapped in this bullshit. He's like, oh my God. Well, hang in there, guys, because we're going to be here one day. Oh my God. Sure, I guess if you want to wait a month to get paid, go for it. You're that guy. You just signed up for that. Look at this thing. We're about to take out the high of the high of Everville. We've successfully stop hunted all the goobers in this window. They are gone. They are out of your way. We can say column. I gotta change the color of that box. Please hold. Yeah, so I go to call Twitter, and there's no phone. We prefer you email us. And then I email them a nasty note that says, you fucking assholes. And they send back, they go, if this isn't about copyright, then we will not be able to address your problem. So this whole copyright thing, and I had this other guy sent me a copyright strike, the pyramid trader guy, who I made fun of his stupid fucking pyramid. He's got like a food pyramid for trading. He's some Jesus freak fuck nut. So I sent him a nasty email. So funny. I'm going to use I just couldn't take it. He sent me this fucking copyright shit. I'm still getting copyright notices 3 years after the video telling me that the sound of thunder that you're using is fucking got a copyright on. Okay. So this is the most recent money management debacle here, where they crushed that window on the monthly as we cock the gun, ready for a plunge north. On our way to 30,000. Another 4,000 to go on the Dow Jones. They're supposed to lower interest rates, so fundamentally you should have got short the dollar here. Right? So they're just going to keep tanking that, right? So they're telling me they're going to lower interest rates because the recession's coming, whatever that means. Euro smashing through the floor. Euro CAD. CAD's just kicking everybody's ass. So here's my buy window. 4-hour chart. Look at the dailies. Once again, the daily chart. And of course, this is one of these no-nonsense currency pairs. Don't forget, because the dollar's not involved. Let me delete the objects here. But look at this mess. A brutal spread right now. I'd be trading this on limits, I think. Try to buy this whole. Sell up here at the tippy top. Sell that. Sell here. Sell that. Here's a nice sell window. Sell in this area. Only filled on the bottom of that. Didn't really get a fill here. We're long here. We're looking to scalp out to the bottom of that. And that if possible. So I would have bought this at the end of the day also. My market system would have gone long. So my market trades are like sell. If it's up big, sell. If it's down big, buy. It has to be down big in one day. So buy. I already have my limits here. I'm underwater on this one, but I'm building a position there. What else? I got all this bullshit or Bitcoin, all this goddamn stuff. Who can watch this? Here's some buy limit windows. We had our buy limits in this. We're up on every trade. 50 pip smash. Looking to cash out up here. This is that quadruple wedge. So we could pop up that. But I'd probably be cashing out now. All these, if we bought that wick, we would cash out into the bottom of these wicks. So if we bought this wick, we would cash out maybe half into the bottom of that, certainly into the. This ticket became break even if I bought there. So you're really putting in a stack. See, the Alpari guy talks about stacks and building a position. And I think that's the way to do it, because you don't have to be so precise. You can be a little more of a slab. Here's the euro versus the... I don't know what the fuck this is, but look at this thing trapped. It's in jail. The Bitcoin Weekly. Pummeling north. It looks like we're going to dip into this window up here. Unfucking believable. She has pulled back to the breakout here, and she's commencing a northern ride. And this will be the, well, you know, the fundamental reason this would go up, if there was a reason this could go up, is because of tariffs and all that stuff. And this is going to be how people escape the, oh, I heard Facebook's going to have their own Bitcoin and all this shit. So there's this kind of like, oh boy, war between the Bitcoins. It's funny to see money pour into shit. I mean, there was a time, you know, depending what sector. But this looks like quite the stampede here, maybe. Big sellers up here, though. But to me, unless you're on the 1 hour chart here, it's kind of ridiculous. So if you're let's say you're in the 4 hour chart, this is a different kind of style of trading, don't you think? Like the trend traders are looking at this double top become a bottom. They're going to get in there. Here's the breakout. Here is a double top become a bottom, and the stair step goes on and on. The breakout traders that trade, look at this low volatility breakout. Boom. Here the volatility gets too spiky, and there's really no volatility breakouts till here. I'm waiting for a small bar. A filter on the breakout bot too. Here, you're long by default right now. You're just up on that trade just because. Here you would have got a little scalping maybe. A little trap there. Of course, more bots are in on the small bars because well, if it's under 20 pips and it's an 8 pip bar, the under 20 bots come in also. Right, because they like, okay, if their threshold is 20 and it's under 20, that 20 pip breakout bot is looking to make maybe 60 pips. It's kind of geared for that. Because if you're trying to buy a 5 pip breakout and to make 12 pips with a 5 pip stop, it's kind of have to have this big burst move. Also, how long does your, if you're going to get in on a buy stop, sell stop basis, how long do those tickets stack up and last? Another consideration, if you're going to layer it, and that's the only way to really do it, to get the most efficiency. Look at this Litecoin screaming up into the sell window. People are going to run, man. The wheels are coming off. Competition. I heard MasterCard is denying people. Look at S&P 500 about to break a record here. In the same setup as the Dow Jones. MasterCard denying people because they're inappropriate, because they want to kill OJ. How can a guy get on the fucking Twitter and do a video and not say, I am such a fucking asshole, I apologize, but let's try to just deal with that and move on. But no. Guy's like, I'm a sports guy and, okay. Great. Here's the 4-period histogram moving average. So this is a template. I just took a smooth Akinashi, put my black range bar on top. True range. That looks cool. It's not perfect. I mean, plenty of this concept of having an indicator that when it goes blue, you sell. you kind of got to look at the bigger picture. Still got to look at the structure here. It's hard to make those blanket decisions. Anyways, that's that. So let's see where the markets go. Oh, the markets are so bullish. Look at this thing. It's going to crack that trend line, this fucking DAX. I mean, this German stocks, whatever that's, DAX. But look who's leading the way, Amex. Oof. Getting those write-offs. Exxon's bringing up the rear. Finally, people came into the Tesla deal. You knew they would. Just on pure structure, I mean, it was so funny. I wish I could have gone to the stock meeting and said, you know what, guys? We're plopping limits in here. We're going to scalp to the floor. People like, but Tesla cars are killing people. I go, yeah, I know, but look at Boeing. They were blowing up Boeing planes, and look how good Boeing's doing. Don't talk to me about fundamentals, you dumb shit. Look at the chart. What is wrong with people? Have they lost their fucking mind? I had Boeing on here. What happened to it? Look at this. Look at this Australia, New Zealand. Australia's gonna get their head handed to it. We're stepping into the window. Bye-bye. Wow. This is one of No Nonsense's favorite currency pairs. Tell me, what's the trade again on this with the indicators? Please, somebody. I gotta, for entertainment purposes, I'm gonna have to go to the Discord of No Nonsense Discord and read the comments where people are like, well, you see, this trade wouldn't even be a trade we get into because you, don't you know about the ATR 1 bar rule? You're only allowed to go to 1 bar a night. You can't bar hop, okay? No crawl. You can't do the St. Patty's Day pub crawl. Well, you're a buzzkill, buddy. Maybe you should stay home next time. No, I got Boeing on here. It's 100B. I couldn't have deleted it. Fuck, I got the Mexican peso. Hey, how's that border control doing? Oh, looks like the dollar's going to lose against the peso here. Like it's going to break out of this channel and just go tumbling down. I think drug companies are up. That's what I like to see. Keep those freighters of cocaine coming in, please. We need to stay alert here. Cocaine for scalpers. I see Boeing pulled out of this. Look at that. It crashed a few planes, but look at this going up. See? Anyways. We'll be buying on pullbacks. That's my theory. Buy on pullbacks.